guys are not ready for this. Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy Twit here, and this will be another account review. This time for No Cat though, and I'm not sure if he renamed this one for just this account review, but his name is Coochie Juice. If this gets demonetized, man, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. Let's go. So No Cat though asked me a few questions, things that he wants me to look at. One of them is Big Shockman. We got getting into PvP and what you would need for that, Apocalypsion and World Boss. Now, there are a few things which are kind of nasty to get into. One of them is Big Shak. It isn't necessarily the hardest thing into the game, but you gotta get a pretty decent setup to make it work. Can I make it work with the gear that he has is one of the bigger questions. And the same goes for Apocalypsion, because I believe if you want to do the lower brackets at least, then you need several characters to make that stuff happen. He does, however, have a Valance, and it looks like he spent a few bucks on it, so we'll just see how far we can get. So, level 166, we got ourselves a play record of 569 days. Nice. We got himself to Platinum 5. I think we can get him to Masters at least. And 5-star unique weapons, unique treasures, and artifacts. Well, that seems pretty good. Let's see which characters we are rocking with. Panzeron. Now, Panzer is one of the characters that can do Apocalypsion, which is nice, but can also do Big Shockman. So that is pretty good. A220 Valance. Supposedly very good combination of the two, because with her S1 on Valance, make sure to lower cooldown, especially with this, to make sure that the damage output on Pansy is ridiculous. So that is really good. Got himself May for World Boss, is one of the greatest characters out there. So that itself is beautiful. Got himself a Rahartna, not the greatest of sorts, but will allow him to do something. Got himself a Fall of Frey, fully beefed up, looking nice. And a Solet, she needs a buff. Vespa, please make it work. Every single time I see one, I'll just suggest it. We got himself some Shockman, which is really good because the damage actually transfers from Shockman to the Panzeron stuff, so that is pretty good as well. We got ourselves Evan, not looking too hot unfortunately, so we cannot be using him for Big Shockman, which I normally do. Get himself like a UT3 all the way up to a 5-star. Get an Undispellable Shield, and that will allow you to do it. However, there are other gimmicks that you can provide, which you will be able to do with. Got yourself a pretty good claws. Doable, but I'm not sure if he has a secondary DPS, because otherwise we might be able to do it. Got himself a Priscilla 10-star, A2 plus 18, looking quite good. A Luman, got himself a Nikki to A2. This one could be quite interesting because those are 3 characters that I would like to have in there, and I would be looking for a Gao at some point. Got himself a Celine, looking quite good, to be honest. I like that. Estelle in the building. Now Estelle has some physical block chance increase, although it is good. It is not the most optimal things that you can think about for that. You got some Shay in the building. Got yourself a little bit of CC resistance, making sure that you cannot get CC'd. We got the no goggles, glasses, Veronica. A2 looking quite good. Some people actually use Gao for that. Let's see, a Reina. Oh, so we do have a secondary DPS if we really want to deal enough damage toward Big Shockman though. I would rather pick Chase, A220, looking quite good. I don't think he has a TM set just yet, but those are things that, oh wait, it's starting to look like I'm looking at my own account. That's beautiful. I think we might be able to make something work. He skipped Naya, did I? Where did I do that? Oh, well, sucks. Moving on, Isaiah. Oh, you got a massive amount of characters that we will be using today, my guy. That's looking crazy, because the fact that you have Isaiah makes sure that Apocalypsion is doable. The only one that I'm still missing is Lias, to be honest. Got himself Mediana. So in terms of what he has already, this is looking quite good. Let's just cruise through the rest of the things because these could be hoarded all the way through to characters which he might like. Oh, and then, yo, if I look at this hairdo, man, I need to get one for myself. It looks pretty as hell. Elias is there, he said. Yo, let me get to it. Because Elias is one of those necessary characters for Apocalypsion, in my opinion, especially when you want to do it kind of budget. So then the question is, where did she go? Where did she go? Where did she go? Did I miss her? Oh, Elias A2 plus 18. That is beautiful. So then the question is, how many of the presets does he have? None. Okay, my guy. If you want to make stuff work, especially on the robot side of things, get yourself presets, because presets will allow you to switch gears super fast and you don't have to think about like, shit, what did I use, right? So for that matter, we're going to just start at Big Shockman, because I think Big Shak should be cleared up to 9, especially with his team. The real question is, how are we going to mana drain his stuff? And the other question is, how far did he clear it up? 8. So we can we do this? No. So we have to do 8 first. And we're gonna devise this dude a team that will most likely work. I'm not sure if I can get a 100% guarantee on it, but I can give you a team that worked in my case. And then we have to wonder whether we need anything else, because Chase is capable enough to deal enough damage to clear this up. Gao is a character that can stun enough more than is absolutely necessary, but we will have to provide with the gear as well. Now, Violence and Pansy are, in my opinion, a must-have. But then we are coming up at a problem which I am not sure that we can fix that. How is your Lucius? Lucius has this tendency to be really good here, but you gotta get full cooldown reduction too, which I doubt that he has. Isaiah might be another one with the S3. So once you pop that one, that should be quite good too. With all the A220's 5-star DPS character, man, his account looks moist. Yeah, which in turn begs the question, like, why didn't he kill it just yet? Not in a way a remark to what his achievements are, 100% not. But it's just one of these question marks that I find. The other question that I have, which one would be better, Pansy or Greenery? Now, since I'm using physical characters, I would think that Pansy is better, but we will have to see. And I might have to use some knowledge on the other people, because like I said, I don't know much about Greenery whatsoever. The one thing that we do need is mana rate reduction, and luckily you have some. Increase the number of the allies, blah blah blah. Great. Okay, and this increases the magical damage, dispels negative effects. I thought this also reduced MP, or was that a different one? Can't remember. Too bad. Doesn't matter, but the one thing that we need is something that can drain mana. For this matter, we are going to take a few artifacts that will allow you to live throughout the whole fight. So we are looking for a damage dealer, which is Fantastic Hybrid Animals. I know that Chase is one of the best characters over there, not necessarily because of his damage, but that he can stun very, very well. Looking at your TM skills, if you rock a normal attack on Chase, that will allow him to do a lot of a damage. Combine that with a 3 times 12, that stuff is absolutely enormous. If you do, however, have anything else, you might want to consider, if you are thinking about getting a Chase to maximum TM stuff, is that you say we're going to reforge this into either a normal attack or 3 times 12. What about Fall of Fray? Fall of Fray does have mana reduction, which is good. So that is something that we could work with. But yeah, if you want to get your Chase up, like reforging this thing might be the one thing that you want to do. I did not see you have a Rebellious Clause. Nope, no Rebel Clause just yet. So it's either an ignore defense on this one or something else. But since we are not coming up at the PvP side of things, we're just gonna rock with whatever you have. So so far until we come up at a point where I believe we have to change things up. You got a TM ring on your fray. Like I said, man, we're gonna just try and go wherever we can. This for now seems better. Unfortunately, we don't have anything bigger than that. Never mind, we actually do. 3 times 12, beautiful. All you gotta do is reforge the parts that are pretty horror bad. So then the question is, do you have a last piece? This looks like something that was put on it. Critical damage increase looks nice, but unfortunately not the most massive thing, because Chase cannot really use this anyway. Chase has built-in lifesteal, so it doesn't really work, but I do believe that this would allow you to do enough damage to do whatever. And if you are rocking yourself Big Shockman, one thing you have to, and I mean have to remember, is that the dude has no, and I mean no defense, so penetration doesn't work here, which is also one of the reasons why Chase is absolutely enormous. That being said, a lot of P block, some HP. To my knowledge, this should be enough. P block defense and P toughness to allow him to survive. So I should believe at this point this would be enough. The Wi-Fi crashed. What? My Wi-Fi crashed? No. Then we're coming up at this dude. Has a lot of HP, so survivability is definitely there. P damage reduction, critical damage increase, all defense. Sadly, that doesn't really work. And if you want to go to the PvP side of things, we gotta reforce these ones to HP. So you do have a character that would be super interesting if we reforce these things out to full HP. But that requires some luck, and I don't quite know whether we will be able to do so. So getting that HP one over there is quite good. And let me grab a little bit of a drink. I'll be back in a hot second. So Shockman TM skills are all 25%. Yeah, if you want to do the PvP side of things, go full HP. That is one of the easiest things that you can do. Although the meta is kind of looking more bursty, that would be better. But massive amount of P block, some HP. And although these TM skills don't seem all that great, because you need to start out doing your skills first to make them happen, it will still allow you to do most things anyway. Unfortunately, defense stats on Big Shockman, they don't work at all. So we're gonna try and find yourself a ring that does better, just to optimize so that you can provide with a little bit more. However, it looks like you don't have any, so taking this one seems to be the best because it has P block and HP. I wouldn't necessarily change this. The only thing that we should change at some point, wow, you got 3 of these. I don't know why. Did you try and increase them? Oh, we're still on affiliate bonus. That has nothing. I get you. We're not gonna touch that ever. But then we need a few artifacts that would allow you to do a little bit better. Now, since I don't know which character is going to be doing the most damage, Heart of the Abyss will allow you to mitigate a lot of incoming damage no matter how great damage is. And as my dude said correctly, Fall of Freya is a character that can lower mana, which is really good. But we might be thinking about some other characters that would do exactly the same. So if we can allow some characters to win, then Lockrock would be a pretty decent character, even though he doesn't provide with a lot of damage. But we will have to find and figure out whether we can survive any kind of damage. And for that matter, what I'd like to see is the Sorcerer's Black Dagger. And I'd rather put this one in Claws because, for one reason, he gets to keep attacking 100%. He doesn't have the most attack speed, and maybe if I judge by that fact, since Gao has a lot of attack speed, the chance of this to proc seems more likely to happen. So that in itself would be good. So then we're gonna check out Fallen Foray once again. And if I would have to give you a tip, just build up your Lucius, makes it a lot easier. However, there are people who build Cola instead and make sure to pop the Healing Rain because you get CC immunity and damage reduction up on anything, and it cannot get cancelled. But I do think that Isaiah overall is one of the best. How do you survive the stun blast from Big Shak? Yeah, that's the bigger question that we got so far. Because for one, I got the Isaiah immunity, so that itself should be just fine. But the real question is, oh, he doesn't have much of this either. If you struggle with TM gear for Shock, you can exchange your Dragon Coins for 4s on Identity gear. It's enough for P-Block. Honestly, I think that dude will just survive right now. I don't think we have to change up much. One of the things that I really do like, and it's quite attainable nowadays, is use the Dragon Doomstone. Damage reduction and non-hero damage, which means you are definitely obliterating a dude such as Shockman, right? You got enough crits, you got some mana gain over here with Valence, and Valence can be practically put on auto. Knowing that you can even use her S2 to be CC immune, I don't think we have to do much, except for the fact that we might have to address this perk page to allow you to live a little bit better, because 50% attack reduction is humongous. So even though he might have a full MP, you got HP on that, soul weapon usage, okay. How does Isaiah work on auto? No, man, that's the only thing that we're not gonna do. We're not gonna make her auto, because I'm assuming at this point, like, all these characters, they will be able to do everything on auto, except for Isaiah. That's the one where we should manual. But that's just my opinion, and I think the biggest struggle that we have on this team, and it will have to show, is the mana drain side of things. And I could, for the love of God, not remember whether Estelle had anything to do with that. Even though she does have some CC immunity, it can be dispelled, so it's not very worth it, in my opinion. Where is your Estelle, baby? I saw her just a second ago. Where the hell did she go? This is what happens when you got different kinds of costumes, man. There you go. I don't remember. Was there one thing that lowers mana? Nope. So very unfortunate, but since the cooldown on this would be nice, it doesn't look like you did this on purpose. We'll go with this perk page. I don't want to change that much. The one things that I do want to change, however, is the TM skills, if I do have the option. Or should we just try and kill it and not optimize? I can like give you so many options to make this work, but you got so much Siegfried, my dude. You don't even need that much. What you need to start building is a Ocelot set for all of your supporters. What is this? 95, 3 times, 95, okay. And the attack is pretty high too. Nice job. So we're good. Just gonna check, and my question to you is, no cap, what do you want? Do you want gold ethers? Do you want to have these things? Do you even want to have these things? Which one do you want? Assuming and granted that we can clear it. If we don't have enough mana drain, we might. He said ether. So if Gao doesn't really provide, then with enough mana drain, we might consider getting Nikki in there. Even though she doesn't do much in terms of the mana drain, she might be able to work something. And then depending on how good your chase is, we might be able to kill this quite cleanly. But there are other cases where I actually get destroyed. And yoink, first hit. Did any of my other characters get killed? Nope. Beautiful. Get hit on the first one. That's nice. Get hit by one of those stomps. Like, this is where we are going to face a massive problem, but one fun thing is we are technically not even doing that bad, except for the mana drain part. Because if that was no mana drain at all, we would have survived that one. We're gonna retry. So this is why we're surviving. We can simply just keep up the Valences 2 while transitioning into Isaiah S3. But like I said, the biggest problem on these teams will be mana drain, and we could technically take Chase out for something else. But if I have any other options, I would rather not do that. Yoink, get hit with something big. Yoink, Cirdo. But to perform these ones earlier seems a little bit of a waste, if you ask me. So here we go once again. Pop the shadows, pop all those. And if we need, because yes, we do get stunned every single time. It's very nasty. And that is a singular hit right up to my face. And if I now get a hit like this without draining the mana, I would have died, unfortunately. But the one problem that we also face is the fact that we are getting destroyed. There you go, that's the first part. So that is nice. Chase staying alive, opening up with the S1. But like I said, mana drain is your biggest contributing factor. Now we need to hold off on Pansy's damage. If she is going to do too much damage, then we don't have enough stun to then allow ourselves to live. So yeah, that's something to definitely keep in mind. Luckily, Fall of Ray does something about this mana, which is looking quite nice. And we can lower down some damage all the way through. Path of the Sun, I don't know whether we could kill this. And we just got too much damage, as you guys can see. Because now we are still not having the stun that is required of us. And that's because I did not properly handle my Pansy. But it is in fact possible, ladies and gentlemen. If we could have stopped that Pansy from just doing the damage, then we could have just lived through that just a little bit, and then after he gotten into the second mortality phase or immunity phase, we could have just bursted him down. But yeah, so far I am quite convinced that you are capable. The only downside, wow, yeah, that does happen from time to time. Like, the bigger downside is your Isaiah is not up to speed and your stunning is not up to speed. There is a artifact that will allow you to do more stunning, and that is the chain seal of whatever the hell it is. It's an artifact that does stun in an X amount of seconds ever so often. We might want to equip that, but not just yet, because what we need is absolute survivability instead of just dying to these chumps. And one of the fun stuff is that not only does Valence decrease cooldown. Oh, there you go, we open up that skill. And we gotta make sure to drop these a little bit. But with all of the cooldown reduction that is provided with Fall of Ray, we are even able to do a lot more than is currently shown to us. The bigger question is, how can we deal with this? This being Chase makes this stuff capable if all of the soul weapons are up. Now this is looking good, and I think you also need to be a little bit lucky here and there, because if we now open up the S1 and the S3, we get into this phase, which means that we are good to go. Nothing will happen. Get my Chase outside of a little bit of damage, make sure that he heals, so I always open up this blue skill. And now all we gotta do is we got to get mana. And with mana I mean a lot of it. And if you can lower down this one, okay, we're gonna keep the shield while we're at it, if we can. And if we get hit multiple times, well, that's something that we gotta deal with, right? This is not the most optimal way. Please let me remind you, not the most optimal way. But it is a way for you to do it. And if that means anything to you guys, let's say it'll be worth it. Here you go once again. Make sure to stun. Let's hope that Fall of Ray does provide, because if not, we are going to die here once again. Please stun. Oh, Gua did provide, not enough, unfortunate. So I'm going to skip out Gua. You could use the Pansy stun option. You're absolutely right. But I definitely like to see some more of my my baby Nikki. Reason why she drains mana at a consistent rate, because she just auto attacks. Very great feature on her. That is absolutely useful for you to use in these terms of situations. And since you got a pretty decent amount of survivability, I am assuming that this should be enough. Especially for 8, it should probably even be better on the longer terms. But like I said, providing with enough of that, she will be providing enough stun, and the disarmament will increase the duration by X amount of seconds. So that itself is also pretty good. And you don't even have to have her built that far up to make her work. Give her some lifesteal, allows her to live. Defense is not useful, so you take monster hinting instead. And then you could think about, oh, I want to have some P damage reduction because any of these other things are quite unnecessary. P defense isn't needed, nope, because Shockman ignores all of the defense that you have. All of it, not just one, all of it. We kind of forgot a stun bonanza on this, and this is where you get the Seal Chain of the Ancient God. It basically says every 18 seconds cast a silence on the enemy. This works on a stun bar, something that people don't know a lot about, but hey, here's the thing that makes it work. And if I had to say so myself, upgrade that thing just for the Shockman being, because you don't want to run this in PvP. Dumb. You just gotta hate to see that type of thing happen, man. Aethers. I thought I saw it on a ring on Nikki. Yeah, I'm not going over his gear to optimize his gear to make sure to do this. I'm just gonna show him the benchmark, and honestly, no cat though, I'm gonna give you then the option to figure that stuff out yourself, because like I said, checking people's gear takes up so much of my time, and it's not interesting to you, it's not interesting to the other people. It will just show you the things that you need to work on, unless you really think like, yo, shit, make me a preset, I don't want to play this game. That is a possibility. I'm not sure whether that is the best option that you have, but hey, if that is what you want, who am I not to provide, right? Oh, Path of the Sun. The only problem that I see right here is that we still don't have enough stunning capacity. It is nasty. Yo, are we killing this though? Nope. So Goa did actually provide. What a monster. Oh, there you go. It's dead. Beautiful. Nikki, a baby. One of the more interesting things as well is that... oh, there you go. Ow. That secondary hit, man. That's crazy. The one thing that Nikki also provides is a lot of stun, but also attack reduction, which then in turn allow you to survive a little bit better too. So you could figure it out. Beautiful, my dude. Absolutely beautiful, because let's face it, these things that aren't the hardest, they just take time. They just take a little bit of precision, because I should have not even done the S3 right now, because if he gets his mana right now, we kind of want to just lower that by any means. And unfortunately, right now, I cannot. Oh my god, we still got so much damage. Sir, why do you have this much damage? It's hurting you. I did not even put a single pansy skill in there, man. So if I want to just clean this up, I need to have 3 of these. So yeah, in terms of stunning bonanza, God was better. Okay, then we gotta get Pansy on the S3 stun. We still got so much damage with just auto attacks. Holy hell, man. The one thing that I could potentially do is say, oh, this dude isn't working at all either. Yeah, God was the ultimate stunner 100%. And the fact that he significantly increased the damage too is quite great. But in terms of mana drain, not the best. So it will probably allow you to do some things, but will it really allow you to win? I do not quite know. But we're gonna try it out and get Nikki instead. Interesting, into Evans or Lucius would be the best to go. Yeah, but the dude doesn't have either of them invested, so it will not help him out. It sadly will not help him out. For now, at least. Let's equip... Oh, somebody at least with that. I forgot about it. But if damage is our worst enemy, why not take out some damage? Good question, my friends. But you don't want her to get stunned at all. You could put the dagger on him. Yep. So this dagger on there, make sure to mitigate like a lot of damage by putting this thing on there. And for me, this is also trial and error, ladies and gentlemen. Like, truth be told, it is always just checking out me maxing your characters, and not just try it once, do it multiple times to make sure that whatever you are rocking with is what you need. We could take this one out, and no, I don't want this equipped. Shut the hell up. We need this. Because the moment we take out more damage, obviously the run will take a little bit longer, but if in turn we receive more survivability, why the hell not? We're just gonna run this. And if we want to optimize this one, we might want to get this for extra block, even though it gets reduced at some point. Remember the Pansy S3, you are absolutely correct, my dude. Change the number of targets, stuns 2 seconds. Yo, this skill is absolutely fire. S1 only increases the damage, so that's nothing that we need. We do this, we do that, and now we are going up to balance, because have I checked you out into absolute performance? And no, I did not, because this one is insane. Attack that will be lost by the person right here is absolutely critical. And with more reduction, we get more S3s onto Fall of Freight, which in turn means more mana drain as well, which is really, really good. Reduce all damage taken, blah, 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 on Techno Magic Gear, beautiful. So we in turn get more survivability at that as well. We run HP in this one because that will be the only things that matter. And like I said, damage is not the damage is not the problem. And if we would view it as the problem, guess what? We are going to get cooked. So for that matter, we might have to figure out a way for anybody to survive, give more HP, some attack unfortunately, but more defenses all across the board. And let's face it, it is all about me maxing your gear. Yo Phew, what's up, man? So Gua did provide on the earlier runs, but we still have one big problem about mana drain, and I think Lucius on TM skill on a UT2 is one of the best things that you can get. And overall, it will help you throughout the rest. Oh, that was the latest too. My bad. Like, you gotta then imagine that if you get his UT2 up a little bit and then have the TM skill onto S2, where you can continuously dispel all of your stuff, combine that with Valence, then Fall of Frey would not be using this team, in my opinion. Obviously, there are always ways where, oh, here we go again. I wonder how the Stumble Dance is right now. Yoink. Damage. Yo, that Stumble Dance is beautiful. But the question is it enough? Need to lower this by a little bit. Goa is providing with the attack speed and anything else. This thing looks like it's dying, and I kind of want to just save up some of my skills. Oh, there you go. Full thing is dead, which means that at this point I should have been doing a lot more damage to make sure this thing is cooked. There you go. Watch the show. Saving up all my soul weapons. Saving up my S3 as well. Get my chase back up because he might not have his HP because he's hitting a shield that he cannot kill, ladies and gentlemen. Keep that in mind. Nasty stuff coming up. Tornadoes in ass. And we keep doing this, making sure that we get enough stuns out, and I don't want to have Pansy do any significant damage. We are going to do the S3s, however. We are going to do this as well. But we cannot use any other skills at this point. We can, however, lower some damage. Yo, what the that was even faster than expected, yo. Pansy just does way too much damage, man. Stat. Yo, the one thing that I'm gonna do with Pansy is not even pop up any S1s, S2s, or whatever, man. Like, I'm simply oh my god, I need to be that faster. Reduce Pansy's attack. Yo, I could generally go for HP on her. Her S3 does too much damage. Yo, surprise, surprise. You guys are not wrong. Now, what I could technically try after we kill this, and assuming that I will, is do the next one as well, or at least attempt it with the skip tickets. But that's all up to you, no cat though. I'm going to leave that option to you. Okay, so we can shield. Nice suit, nice suit. Make sure to get this little wing over there, because otherwise you're not stunning, and this way we are looking at some nice ass damage. Nice, I don't mind this at all. I just wish, like, I don't know what came over me, but I thought this was a mana draining skill as well. Okay, we are definitely very lucky in terms of skills, which means that overnight, oh my goodness gracious. Can we get the last one in, please? 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Open up this skill. And if we are lucky, we are only gonna get Paths of the Sun, but I have seen many things, but that generally doesn't happen all that much. It does, however, like we've seen it before. It's not something that is never been done before. Okay, so we're gonna do a shield. We're gonna do this, and we have 3 of them. If this isn't enough, I don't know what is, man. I'm afraid to even use soul weapons at this point. Yo, please. ESMA 3. I should not even be doing this skill. Yoink once again. We're almost there. Now, if this dude decides to say, oh, we're gonna do big pop. Uh-oh. Stun! Ladies and gentlemen, did we get it? Did we finally make it? Holy sweet jeebus! Come here, let me talk to you. Let's see this down my head. Okay, we're gonna die. Yo, use this S2, please. Lower the mana just a second too late. Oh, dead characters know they're not. Yo, I don't know how we did it, but we almost died once again. Hey, yo, Papa Pansy, you got this. This was definitely not clean. No cat though said you can. So we gotta prove them. That's what we need. This time we don't have to care about the damage, most likely. We need to care about the incoming damage. 12 hours later. Butter skinny Pansy's teeth. Yo, stop. Now, as you guys have seen my previous video, I would not suggest using the skip tickets on here. It's very pricey and not very rewarding in my opinion. However, we're here. We're gonna try this anyway. Can he clear out the smallest Shockman? He did already do that. How many skip tickets does my dude have left? He has everything. So you want me to max it out, but what do you want me to get? Did your cheese cleanse the seat? Almost, man. I was like, yep, we got it, but still. So we could say skip, but what items do you want, my dude? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Anything else seems useless. You can do UT, smart choice, my guy, and there you go. 1.5, little bit more UTs. Clear dungeons 5 times. Well, that's that is a the greatest way to achieve it. The other thing that you can try is, since we have a pretty decent amount of healing already anyway, is there's another character that can do a mana drain and in turn give you something else. That person is Zara. You do, however, need very unique equipment to allow her to do that. So I wouldn't advise it to anybody to simply just do that, like, oh, get the Fall of Freya, I'll pop this in, because you have your Valence and all this sort of damage reduction. But she is capable, right? She is capable. I'm not sure whether we can make her that easily, but yeah. The continuous dispel itself, it will allow you to survive. So we could then in turn say, oh, the Isaiah, we don't need her. She doesn't do any healing or anything else. So we might actually try this one out, even though we already completed it once with Fall of Freya stuff. I do, however, like the shield and the stunning capacity that she does provide. So then the bigger question is, can we build her any gear that might allow her to survive? So what we are looking for is HP and P block, nothing else. That is the only thing. It has HP but full M block. If this was a P block stuff, I would have taken it guaranteed. It doesn't matter if they're high up start or not. This one, however, is interesting because it has full HP and it has some damage negation. Nope, it does not. Here I am talking out of my ass like I usually do. Here you go, HPP block. I'm double checking it. Unfortunately, well, with full HP, it's actually not that bad. There's a lot of unidentified TM gears. Oh boy, here we go. Can I just make some mage stuff for no reason because I demand it? Can we just say, yo, can we get some freebies? Unidentified X at the time. Okay, so the mage stuff is something that is highly necessary. Wow, this one would be absolutely crazy. Yo, keep this piece, man. This is an Ocelon piece regardless. Even though it is an HP ring, it still allows you to survive. I'd rather have one with magical defense, but shit, it's not even bad. I like it. Defense penetration, all that shimmy, I don't care about those. What I care about is having more survivability. I'm not gonna open up everything. I'm not gonna look at everything because TM gear itself takes up so much time. Did we not have orbs at any point? I don't want to sort out your gear, honestly, because that takes up lots and lots of time. Normal attacks, nope. So nothing truly fancy, but this might allow you to win a little bit. Double HP once again will allow you to live through a lot of hits, but as long as you don't have P block, that might be a little bit obnoxious. And then technically with this one, we should have so much HP to do whatever the hell we want. So can we then get him onto 2P toughness? And unfortunately we don't have a block whatsoever just yet. However, that can easily be provided by just saying runes. Oh, that's a P defense. Very, very sad. So we're just gonna rock that on here. Like, these P block increases are easy to come by. And then we're gonna rock this hero plaque of appreciation to make sure that she survives. I want her to get enough mana. I want her to get this. I want her to get that. I want her to recover mana upon use or increases mana cost and targets the blah blah blah. I don't care about that. Non-hero damage, absolutely useless. Grants immunity while in use. Interesting, but that's what we got the S3 for. And this thing increases damage overall. So this seems more plausible in most cases, although her P block is super low. This might be better. I'm not sure if it is, but it could be better. For that reason, all we gotta do is we just got to try. I'm assuming once again we look at this. So we're gonna cheese our way out of this, honestly. But after you cleared it once, you can use a skip ticket after that. Once again, it's ill-advised depending on how much stamina you spend weekly, but skipping out on this one is definitely something that you might want to consider with the 40 tickets that you get each week, since you get at least here we go, watch the show. Yeah! Hey, shit, she lived. That was all I needed to know. Use that one, get a heal up. And since we got so much cooldown reduction, I feel like we can get this lady just doing whatever. Path of the Sun. Okay, this one will be highly fucking questionable. We need some more damage. All that we need is a Damahe. Can we get it? Chase is providing. What a beautiful character, my guys. No jokes there. And in turn, it also means that we can put Pansy back to her usual damage kit, because the faster we do that damage, pop out the S3s. Beautiful. I do care. It hurts. Papi, no. Okay, so if we still get hit, that is still not enough, so we might want to consider a continuous healer. If we do that, because it still hurts like a mother. For one, Pansy's not alive still. Yeah. And Fall of Frey still doesn't provide with continuous heal. For that reason, I'd rather even have Shay in there, because she also does damage reduction and continuous heal. Cannot get stunned. And it looks like we got the mana drain part down for what it seems like, but that will have to show in the future. If that is the case, I saw your Shay was pretty invested, so something that you might want to consider using as well. We would then have to super manual this stuff, but yeah. And I'll keep this this soul weapon as well. Yoink, yeah, I do not care. I can put this one on auto too. Yoink, waste on a heal. Shield and pop this one. Can we kill it? Yeah, nope. Too late. Should have popped that S3 a little earlier. You could try a net instead of Zara. For what I heard is that the heal doesn't get dispelled, but the CC immunity does. Because if that is the actual case, if that stays, she would even be a ridiculous PvP character if you ask me. Now, we did do this earlier and we made it happen, so I'm assuming we still can. Yoink. Ow, big damage. Ouch. Stop it. But as long as we put Pansy on that auto, that should be a little bit easier. Path of the Sun once again. Whoa. Don't you just drop this and then we just got to hope. Hope against better judgments. Chase, you better just kill it. Don't make me look like a dumbass. Oh boy. Woo! Mad close. Get the right TM skills and that would have been clean. Uh-oh, I did that one too early. We are going to die. Kidding. Made it. Please don't get hurt. Thank you. Another Path of the Sun. Luckily, we can provide with a little bit more damage. And this is the trick that I always use on Chase. Look at his HP. Look at him getting it back. Because this way we can, once again, just do all that we need. Then we are required to do, once again, a lots of stunning and a lots of damahe. Here you go, another one of those. So we're just gonna preemptively open up these because I don't even know if I have enough stunning like it. I'm not gonna open up this pansiest one because we might actually at that point just kill ourselves. Full heal. Made it. And fun fact, so we almost killed it. Kinda don't want to do this as one, but I'll have to. There you go, beautiful. Looking good so far, opening up the S2 once again. And if we are lucky and get the right mode, we might be able to kill it right about now. Please don't use any forceful skills, ladies and gentlemen. Open up the S1, cook it up. Double S1 on this, and after that point, I think we are looking at a dead character. Oh, there you go, we got it. Yoink. Fury. Alright, so after this, you can just skip ticket this for all I care. Beautiful. We are, however, going to save up the preset. Know that you can do it once again. So, pretty good, man. Your account was definitely capable of doing so. The bigger question will be, how well would you do in Apocalypsion, right? I think it would be best for us to move up to that. But so far so good. That was really nice. And that being said, Apocalypsion, Divine Punishment Raid. And the real question is, have you done it before? Have you cleared it before? If anything, we need to reset this. And how many buffs have you... Oh wait, could I have actually clicked it? I don't know. Fuck, I think I broke something. No, it wasn't up, right? Like we couldn't do it. So how many debuffs have you cleared it before? And or have you cleared it before already? Because that's something I don't know. I think I messed something up. I don't know. It didn't look like I could click it, but. Apocalypse's power is at its greatest. No cat though with no answers. I only killed the little ones. Okay, then we're gonna start out with that. Now I know Lumen is the best on here. I don't know how you got him yet, but oh, look at that. That's beautiful with the horns, man. Looking nice. So we're just going to provide with the usual teams. Shay, Isaiah, and for two more we need a balance. The moment I start looking at my own positions of my own characters, man, it's crazy. What do you even put him there? Technically you could put Rawhardner up there as well, but since yours isn't quite invested just yet. Oh, Valence already picked. I'm a dummy. Stealth's picked, and now you need Elias. So I promised you one thing, and that says, yo, get the preset, call it Big Shak. And with this one, we're gonna save it, and we're gonna call it Apple. Because you need to do this one weekly. This one you can do a skip ticket, but whatever. So what we are looking for right now is something with a ridiculous amount of magical defense. So there's a few things that you are looking for. Fixed attack speed, and that seems great and all, but still not that good. Attack down, defense up seems a little bit better. It could, however, work, but I am not a fan of using these things. What I'd rather do is get magical defense, and we will have to see if you got these pieces yet. Okay, since you don't have those, it might be good to consider building them. Defense on 1. This is a beautiful piece. We are going to keep that one up. It's not the most optimal one, but it definitely does provide once you increase its capacity. Fixed attack and stuff by 40, equally as good, which means that we are only left with one thing that we should do. Hopefully you still do have the tickets. If not, I am going to cry my eyeballs out. You still do. Beautiful. My guy, I'm not sure if you've done this on purpose, but yo, good stuff. So you're making 2 pieces. Fully magical defense, which will then in turn allow you to live. Reason why I picked the other 2 pieces is because they're both useful if you max them out in terms of whatever the hell else. We're going for a Dark Legion necklace. We select the options. We go to Magikaru defense and here you go. What's it? Show magical defense necklace all the way through, and you have yourself a workable Lias. It's really not harder than this, right? If you want to reclaim this piece because this is about the best defense that you have, but the attack reduction or the attack speed reduction and attack increase itself is quite equal to that. I would rather see this be on the other pieces or on the extra defense. Like that one is a given. But since you don't have it, no worries. We are going to make this stuff happen. Yo, did I make that orb? Oh, I made another one. Well, nope. We're actually not going to take this one because you don't have a 5-star or fully upgraded. Instead, we are going to use this one because of magical defense. Like I said, the TM Reclaimed has way more base stats, which means in all honesty, it would be better, but that's only if you min max stuff. So we're gonna do a last one, and we are going to create an orb. There you go, Dark Legion orb. And it seems like a waste of these things, but there's obviously nothing better now that TM skills are coming out. It's more of a great startup for most players to have these pieces of gear, and all you gotta do is just use them. It's really not harder than that. Physical defense, magical block, P-block and block, okay, and we got a magical block on 5k, beautiful. And since you already got this one to a 5-star, that's beautiful. This will allow her to survive whatsoever. So then we need to use a maximum cocaine. Go and upgrade this. Option and hands, go and upgrade this. And the same thing goes with this. We go ahead and upgrade all this stuff, and then there's one thing left to do, and it kind of depends on if you still have those. I can only assume that if you are a newer player, you don't even have this many of these. However, for those of you who do, make sure to get at least a few lines up there with magical defense. Magikaru Doji. Physical crit resistance is higher. We're aiming for at least the maximum or a magical defense. HP 1 is never bad, but you wouldn't want to take this, especially now that he has a 5-star unique treasure. Fully capped out magical defense. Yo, give me a few of those, man. I would be a happy panda. And Apocalypsion is one of those things that if you do kill it every single week, you get yourself at least 1 or 2 unique treasures, depending on if you are willing to spend some rubies. Which is in my, oh my god, we're not even gonna look at the rest anymore, man. I wish this would have happened in my other account review, man. Oh shit, did I not just max that one out? I took that one for granted. Alright. We gotta do this. This is looking like it's already pretty late, which means that I shouldn't be. Oh my god, another magical defense. 14%, which is one of the lowest rolls. But still it's magical defense nonetheless. Hey, ooh. Please. Can I get a plus 20? Plus 20 would be enough. I wouldn't be looking at anything else. But no cap, I think you got the point, right? Like if we cannot make this is something that you can increase. That's no problem. And for one, we are going to kill some fire dragons. And my other question to you would be, who do you consider to be your main DPS? Because for one, yes, you got fully TM'd all the way through Panzeruni. Now this should be quite easy. We could do a similar strategy for Loman, because he obviously gives up a lot of magical defense to the rest of the team. He said probably Panzer, so he isn't even sure. Okay. So what are we looking at? Are things dying? Well, shit. Here goes damage. Okay, what is the damage done unto us? Absolutely nothing. Why? Because we got Lias over here. Lias allows for so much damage mitigation. People are unaware of how broken she is in this current content. And this is why, because you don't have to have her on A220, you don't have to have her on a 5-star, you just build a magical defense set and you are good to go. I don't think this needs much explanation except for things are dying. So far, no cap though, do you have any questions that need addressing? While we're looking at Panzeruni absolutely decimating this whole piece of content. I wonder how much damage this is going to do, however. Because if it kills us, then we have to address our Lowman. Was it already this easy before? We haven't even looked at all of the artifacts and we're still already smoking all of this. We haven't even looked at all of the artifacts. Are you kidding me? For what, we're gonna fix the artifacts on the next wave, man. Yeah, it was easy. You said, how is Pansy doing this much damage? It's from high pen. Oh no, man, she just does damage. I don't ask questions like those. We just basically force our way through. That's it. Like, technically you shouldn't even be doing that much damage with Pansy, because this is the Fire Drake that has a lot of block, and you can see it over here. There's a lot of blue text. I tried, but the damage is too low for me. He got a 2-star orb. And there are obviously some characters that reduce physical block. Luckily, or unfortunately, they're not here. Which means that you could technically get in a super low investment Yana in here. Fully defense invested. And can reduce some P-block along the lines. But he has a very, very well invested character, which is his Pansy that will make stuff work. He ended up using Lucy. Well, that's a pretty great substitute. Look at all the legs, bro. Look at all the legs. Alright, so the first one done. Poison Dragon is about one of the easiest ones after that. We're going with exactly the same, but this time we could use somebody that can deal with the physical damage of things. So claws would be pretty good since I already used them in the previous setups. Then we are going Estelle, this one, that one, Isaiah, because we're going to use her in a little bit as well. Now Elias isn't going to be good here, unfortunately, otherwise this would be an interesting feature. Rahadna would be good if he had her pretty invested. Anything else would be, well, like I said, just not necessary altogether. To lower any kind of blockage, what you could do is use Nikki, but that wouldn't necessarily bring you much. So I have a free pass. So we're gonna look at Fall Afraid for a second. We are going to say make sure that we pop this, make sure that we pop that because we don't need the extra stun. We are, however, going to look at some of the perks, and this is way better. Valens, you got this one. We might want to increase the overall damage capacity by a little bit. Attack speed is going up. This is still not optimal for this wave, but it will allow us to do whatever is necessary. This one is interesting if we don't die. Then Pocket Watch is unnecessary the moment you got yourself the righteous amount of pieces. The fact that you don't have the academic achievement reward just equipped just yet. I still don't know about all of the perks because I could be looking at it right now. But since I am fairly convinced that we are going to kill everything anyway, like why would I bother, right? I think that's the best way to put it. Raccoon Dog will probably just die. Do I care? Not really. There you go. Start the battle, kill it. I would use Pansy if I could. I think it's more of a investment gear issue than anything else, to be honest, because as you can see, we're already providing with so much damage that we literally don't have to figure anything out. So here we go. Watch the show. A lot of poison breath, a lot of no stacking, but one thing that we are seeing is damage. So this one in turn should be super easy, especially now that all of the soul weapons are up. And since Valens does cooldown reduction on top of all of these, on top of everybody else, this is such a breeze. You have 8220 Pansy. Maybe I need to increase your attack or something. It's not that, my guy. Do you have 1.4 million attack? And do you have the right pieces, like 3 times 12, or do you have 2595 damage? Here we go. Once again, we're gonna pop up this S1, blow the torches out on this one. Hit the S3. Yo, not the S3 didn't even phase. You have some 3 times 12, but it doesn't mean all. You don't have 1.4 million attack yet. Well, that could be the current issue that you have. Could be. Doesn't say it is, but it could be. If you have problems with this one in terms of mana gain, the one thing that makes Pansy have a little bit more mana is Radiated Cannons, which is the T2 perk. So for every monster that you are then facing, you will receive mana at the short end, which is really good. If you cannot stun the boss, not necessarily a problem, because right now with all of the cooldown reduction that we have, we got Isaiah just giving everybody the immunity that it deserves. And like I said, I don't think the dragons itself are that much of a hassle, as well as Terzio and Apocalypsion themselves are absolutely just destroying what you have. Is that the account review? Yes, sir. I truthfully was expecting a little bit more damage, but the other part might just be consistency. So here we go. Fuego! Not bad. Just the auto attack is killing up like a lot of stuff already, so not bad, not bad. I think overall Ice Dragon is one of the hardest, where I do believe that I might have to manual it, because you really need to line up your damage to make sure that you do everything correctly. However, I'm just gonna try and auto this and see whether it works or not. But they changed up. I feel like Ice Dragon is magical and the other dragon is physical. The Ice Pillars could be tough, yep. Although Pansy does have the ability to have a lot of burst damage to deal with this stuff. So once again, go to check the raid info. If you don't know which type of damage your enemy is doing, check it over here. So this one does magical damage and a lot of it. Okay, so in that aspect, we are not picking you, we're picking you. We could end up going for a little bit less damage, go for more survivability, but I do believe that as long as we are killing the pillars, we don't have to worry about jack. Is Isaiah the best over here? Possibly, maybe not even. We could still use the Celine. But then again, I do think this should already smoke it. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with this boss, it's not the hardest one of sorts, but it summons some ice pillars, and if you don't kill it within the time, then obviously you are going to get one shot. There are some people who can survive. Gladius, one of them, I've seen him do it before, and I'm not sure where they. Yo, Loman, you're supposed to be good against magical damage. You big dummy. And we are going to need you in the future too. So how are you going to keep up with this? Stop. You big baby. Okay, Lumen, time to give you something that is highly than necessary. What is your magical defense at? Oh, nothing and nothing. So we might actually have to grant him pieces that will allow him to do better. Filter sword, filter out, and we are going to double check whether there is anything that has magical defense, if anything. Defense percent, that's good. This thing could be doable, but like I said, if it doesn't give any magical defense, on the long run, it will still not help you out. Loman is another one of those characters that will allow you to do this piece of content super easy. Defense went 3, that's unfortunately not the best, but yes, we are going to double check everything possible. For this you need an earring, and a necklace, my bad. And unfortunately he has a few, but it doesn't seem to be the best. So luckily we saw already the same gimmick that we saw earlier, that my dude over here has a lot, and I mean a lot of these tickets. So we are going to make him some Loman gear with full magical defense, and I think we saw the strat earlier and it made a lot of sense. I want to use it once, thank you very much. Then we are going night 2, we go this. We make him, surprise surprise, some magical defense. I think I used Glenn here. We're gonna need this armor anyway, man. Because the problem is that you don't have anything that will allow you to live through Apocalypsion's first hits, and the fact that you don't have the amount of magical defense that is required to keep yourself alive. This way, I do believe, and I have to check this out because I have not done it other than on my own account. Whether this already could allow everybody to survive, or whether you would still have to include like a Yana to get the 30% extra dragon damage reduction up. But that will have to show. I know for sure that these pieces are one of the best that you can make in the longer term anyway, right? There's just nothing really better to keep whatsoever. And you might say, oh my god, but now Loma got no block. How the hell are you gonna trick that? Well, guess what? That's what you got runes for, baby. So we're gonna use this magical defense. We use the cocaine, we sniff some up. Here we go, maximum. And like I said, I'm not gonna min-max these yet. You have seen the deal with the scrolls. I will only do it if we are making sure. Oh, don't do a single one, just do all the cocaine. We do that over there. And to some degree, Glamorous will be pretty good over here because you will need that ridiculous damage right off the start to really cook down those pillars. I get it, I really do. But if I had any other options, then I might just want to take it like this. So we take this one out, take this one in. This one looks pretty good. No TP95s, otherwise you could get some base block in there as well. The question, however, is how good does HP do if you're already surviving anyway? Instead, going for a little bit more magical block seems to be the wisest choice. Now, then there's another option which you can take, which means that we are going to get not some magical defense, but we are going to get some base and magical block, which will then allow us to do something plus the 200 of this, which in turn should allow him to live through everything. Here we go once again. Question is, can we shoot down the pillars fast enough? Do we need to manual it? Do we auto it? But either way, we sit back, relax, do the same thing, and shoot this thing down. Where we at? We're already an hour and 18 minutes in. Jeebus. So can we do it? Big hit, the air. Oh my lordy lord. He still hits me quite hard, to be honest. Oh, Isaiah jumping to the fray and nearly getting ourselves destroyed for no reason. Now, for what I know, he manualed the pillars. Yep, I'm not surprised. I would probably have to do the same, but I'm a firm believer, man. I'm a firm believer of just absolute bust ass. So I am not only assuming, I am demanding for Pansy to kill this, otherwise I would deem her to be bad over here. Which I think is going to be the case because the only thing that we got right now is Soul Weapon. His cooldown is so crazy. We are going to need that S3 though, twice. Which in a sense makes Pansy not the best character over here, but would she be capable? I would say so, yes, because now we got a single target. All we gotta do is S1 once, S1 twice. Yoink, and the thing is dead, absolutely destroyed. And now we got the second ones coming up. I don't believe it will be that much of an issue. And unless you use the S2 targeted S3, you're right about that. More targets equals more damage equals easier time on this boss. There you go, the S2 supposedly kills up the pillar, and there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You don't need to manual jack. We have another shaved thing on the ground. Not before we smoke this dragon's culo off, and here you go. Come back over here, you nasty dragon. That's what I call my lady sometimes. And here we go, watch the show. Everything that is blocking, aka Luman, will provide with a T5 Dark, which means in turn everybody gets more magical defense, which in turn means that Lies gets more magical defense. Wait, we didn't even pop her in here. So all that we gotta do is possibly stun this if possible. Not the case. So this thing will fly over our faces, potentially killing everybody. But since Loman got full magical defense, that stuff is not happening just yet. S1 double, and are we having a cooked up dragon? Nope, we don't. So by any means, yeah, just come at me, bro. Soul weapon, cooldown reductions and all that jack. So far so good. So no cap though, did you see anything that I used differently from you? Because you already said it so yourself that this part on Apocalypsion is easy, right? It's not the hardest thing. And I am actually curious myself what the bare minimum is that is required for you to kill Apocalypsion, because I've been claiming for people to do this content ASAP, because it will. Oh, gotta check. Is this physical damage right now? It used to be magical damage. Lol. So for this, we gotta go back to you. Beautiful. We go back to you. We go back to you. Where is the rest of the characters? Isaiah's up there, and well, life still doesn't work, so that's not something that we need. I like some cooldown reduction. Let's go. Now, just Apocalypsion was the problem. I could survive, but not enough damage. Ooh, okay. That would be interesting. Because I know Pansy does have the capacity to kill it. I've seen it before. But the question is, how do we devise a team that will allow her to do so? Because I already know that your crit is pretty low. Doesn't make it impossible. I'm not saying that, but it is low. Even with his Pansy. Alright, so there is a need factor that we have to show ourselves. Damage. Cooldown reduction. Yo, I'm loving some violence plus Pansy, man. This cooldown reduction is crazy. And obviously there's still audio side of things, and I do believe that audio at some point will receive a buff. I do, however, think that nothing beats Violence and Pansy together. That was a match made in heaven. Because Pansy suffers from this big chronic cooldown disease, man. BCCD. Not to be confused with some other nasty terms. Swan, please do the S2 first. Oh, beautiful. Come over here. Let me talk to you. You could ticket UT lines. I don't think that is the biggest of your problems. I think the biggest problems is dealing with the block chance, which shouldn't be around anymore. And the other part is whether you have enough crit, because this thing has an obnoxious amount of crit resistance. And there are a few characters who could help you with it. But if survivability is not your issue, then we gotta find out where your issue is then. But so far so good. Nothing that I have to worry about. Nothing that I should change. At least for now. But now we are coming up at the one that matters most, and that is Apocalypsion. And I'll probably just reset this thing knowing that I could still pop it. I am terribly sorry for wasting a ticket if I did. But there's nothing I could change about it right now. So, very unfortunate, but it is the way it is. So, for survivability and stunning sake, we take this. We take ourselves May. May is 100% necessary, but you got to stun appropriate at times. And I already see that your UT2 is not invested. I would suggest you starting to do that as of now. No other time would be better for you to try that. Then we are going for, well, Eliza would be the other character that is 100% required. Estelle is quite similar to that. You can all put them into a box over there. Then we put Shay here and Isaiah. I think this would be the most optimal team for you to try it out right now. Whether it does all of the stunning that is required is one of the bigger questions, because I have a feeling it doesn't, but that's what we got this for, right? Anything else? Oh yeah, make sure to take out the UT2, because that one gives you a currency, which in turn will help you as well. And the one thing that you should always do, and this is not even a question, make sure to get yourself all of the mana required. Heal trance increase sounds interesting. Reduces all defense rate, but This is the tip that I would give you guys. Always look through the skills, because it says Terzio is not affected by changes in attack speed, defense, and attack. So that perk has absolutely no meaning, as well as this. Yeah, it heals a little bit more, but if you're already surviving, especially with the amount of defense that you have. There's one thing in particular that I would like you to increase, and that is the crit, because this thing has a ridiculous amount of crit resistance. And also this one, all enemies take 15% more damage for 18 seconds. That actually works too, but the extra healing will allow you to live some more HP, MP, whatever you want. Seems like a pretty decent feature too. So this is how I would like to build her. But if you do have any kind of a magical defense, and we could be making all these earrings once again all together, but we are just going to try and find out how far we can get with our current setup. For now, like, if it works already, that would be good. If it doesn't, well, we have to figure something out. Isaiah's one that you shouldn't auto. Same goes for Shay, because you might want to have some of her skills up to wherever it is needed to be. As for Pansy, you could just pick whatever. Yoink, yoink. And we are going to manual, may as well. Because not having ours 2 up is one of the worst things that could possibly happen. So this is one of the bigger hits in the game. Yoink. If you can, however, survive this, then you get yourself a pretty decent team that will do good enough for you to survive through nearly everything. One suggestion for everybody though, get Isaiah on some soul weapon +1s, because during the whole fight you will be using that a lot. Not necessarily for your healing, but for damage increase instead. This unfortunately was a missed time on my end, so I might actually just die. Fortunately I didn't, because I use Isaiah S3, which then in turn allowed me to survive. So this is pretty good. So far in terms of the defense part of things, it is looking quite okay. Not that I am surprised, but I am amazed at the fact that this is looking good. But so far so good. I'm not sure about your damage usually, but I have quite some confidence in this team so far. Get hit by that once, not necessarily a problem. We could actually need some more cooldown reduction, but... And is it Terzio where you die, or is it Apocalypsion where you don't have enough damage? Because I can imagine that Apocalypsion will cook up your shit. Here we go once again. The breath, we use Isaiah S3, locking it up. Beautiful. Just Apocalypsion. So Terzio is not the issue. Okay. That is interesting. Here we go. Some more heals all around the board. So far your survivability looks good. The only bigger problem that we have could be the stunning department, but apparently Pansy does just about right if you open up the S3. I think that is also one of the reasons why you started to say that to me, like, yo, just get that one, man. And the other part is that you might not even have enough. Oh, here we go. That's a lot of damage. Can we get some heal? Thank you very much. And damage will gradually go up, which is nice. Oh, I mean Terzio. I've never gotten to Apocalypsion. Okay, well, this looks to be a first one. And that is just by adding more critical damage or critical rate. Like, critical rate is where most of the people, their damages will fall off, and this is why you need a big UT2. And we haven't even checked all of Valence's skills out, because I think we can increase our damage even several-fold by... Oh, here we go. Ow. Okay, so this part is done. That doesn't necessarily mean that we get to kill the next one, but it kind of looks good and promising in terms of stability. The fact that I've done it... And this is why I would recommend everybody just look through the skill descriptions. look through guides where it says what you gotta take, because this, if you would have read through some of my guides, this would have been knowledge that you already had, right? I'm not like bad mouthing you or anything, but do make sure to check out guides. Guides will literally help you out with situations like these. I'm not gonna pop up my soul weapon just yet. I want to combine that the moment I really need to do damage, and that's on 25%, because that's where this lady just decides to absolutely cook you up. But I do have a feeling that with our current investment, this should be doable. And one of the most beautiful things about Panzerone here, if she does the one skill that she has, her auto attacks have so many hits. I do believe that we are going to absolutely destroy the point where she does the Abyss Breath or the Abyssal Charge. This one. We do, however, need a cooldown reduction, because if we don't, we get absolutely cooked. Unfortunately, this is also one of the problems with not having enough. Okay, we're gonna fucking die. Please don't die, backline. Oh, we made it, ladies and gentlemen. What kind of luxury is this? This game is crazy. Can we have him though? And don't jump to the forward like I am doing like right now, like an absolute dumbass, because at this point it could be that your Isaiah is dying. So rather just save up the cooldowns and save up your life at that point. Small transition, going from a soul weapon on Shay into an Isaiah S1, because it takes up a little bit from your healing department to get to that point, which in turn could kill you if Loman is getting slapped like he is right now. So in terms of survivability, Loman, even though he is really good, he can still get absolutely smoked, and if that happens by any chance, then you gotta redo. It's pretty sad, but it doesn't mean that, like, technically we could still do this. Maybe I'm a little bit too hopeful. I'm gonna preemptively use a S3. We just survived. Holy balls, man. But randomly, I do see Loman die ever so often. So it's nothing that you should be super worried about. Like, oh my god, now I can never do this again. Not quite the same. Because, funny enough, we are still surviving this. Valence is just cooking this up, even though I assume she wouldn't. What the absolute fuck is this? What kind of sorcery are we using, Valence? Stop. Oh, here you go. That's where she died. So we gotta try this again. But once again, crit was the problem, which is easily doable if you use a mechanic. Tank S3. Yeah, and this is the problem, that your Loman isn't super invested yet. There's another artifact that you might want to end up using, and that is for block reduction. But for now, what we are going to change, we are going to change this for more HP, and then we are going to change Estelle for the other one. And then we gotta double check, are all of the artifacts good? Are all of the skills good? Because I have a tendency to just go in and go with whatever is happening, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that is the best. So one thing we have to double check at the very least is a Valence. Valence is looking quite good. Attack reduction, unfortunately, impossible. So this thing does not work. Somebody told me that at some point, because even I did not read everything perfectly. That is what happens. But here we find something mildly interesting, and that is that this lady is not having anything. Why didn't you check that before 12? Because I'm lazy. That's why. See, so we could have had what, 80% more critical damage? Did somebody say I had not enough damage? What? Which UTs do I need to get up? Well, technically the UT 1 reduces a little bit of physical block onto the enemy. That's something that you can use on Loman. You can upgrade that one by a pretty nasty degree. The one thing that I would like to advise you, if you have enough points, is to get TP5 so you can get yourself at least the extra HP, and this will then allow your Loman to survive better and the rest of the characters too. Then I already see something here which is quite interesting, which I would not advise. Even though you got some defense runes, I would rather have you have the typical stuff I'm going to use a little bit of rubies. My apologies for that. But in the longer run, you will definitely benefit from this. So M tough and magical block defense. This is what will allow you to survive everything. And in terms of a little bit, I would need you to have a little bit more block or HP if possible. Because let's face it, if Loman can survive this stuff, he is definitely going to do very well for you. Critical and block. Well, that's not something that I'm trying to look for. Anything HP would be quite interesting too. Crit defense. Let's just go for this. Unfortunately, we don't have anything that could be a great substitute for that. Yeah, I'm going to double check that thing on Loman because now I'm starting to hesitate whether I was having the right one in my righteous mind. It is... Where is it? It is not this. This is UT4. I mean UT1. It says reduces the target's P block by 500. It's a very good one. You have Velcrunes. Yeah, I think we just figured that one out. But we don't necessarily need a selector. You could go for an HP and defense, but that is only for if we are not making it. But as you have seen, if you get the T perks, you can get 50% HP, which in turn will allow you to get more survivability. If you get more survivability, there is you will always be able to clear Apocalypsion. That's what I've seen so far. And now with the extra damage that is coming out, I am fairly certain that we can absolutely smoke this dragon. 80% more critical damage, my guy. That's sickening. But the problem is crit. Wait.
I forgot that I have to do that.
Oh. Well, then it's dirty. You know what else is dirty?
Me.
You! How the fuck do you know?
Because I know what you're gonna say.
I am so damn predictable. Making a video, so did you just judge me? Yes. Look at her. If I could, oh my god, we're gonna die. This is karma. Oh my god, the backline is dead. We gotta redo. It's her fault. This is a toxic relationship. Oh my god, somebody teach this man some manners. Hell no. We're just having fun. That's it. She knows my jokes a little bit here and there. She might not tell me, but I know she likes the jokes. A little bit, at least. Right? Never mind.
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
That being said, the only possible problem that we might face over here is that we don't have enough stunning capacity. That might be something that would kill us, but not something that we cannot deal with. The other thing that we should be wondering about is, do we have enough? Oh, that's not something that we even have to worry about nowadays. Everything on defense. Intercept the hit. Bust ass dragon. Open up the S2 twice. Oh, here we go. Watch the show. S3. No. Here we go. Lumen is still alive, and what we could have done with Lumen once again is use up the what is it called? The little pieces to increase our HP. Oh my god, this could technically kill us. No, it doesn't. Beautiful. Here we go. To add a little bit more magical defense to Lumen. But if I would have to suggest a TM skill, it would be the one enemy plus 45 defense, or get a attack down defense up. If you get that one, that is the best in slot. If you, however, get the other one, you can still do it because there's only one enemy in this one. So that's quite good. As for optimizing all of the other stuff, give yourself all of your supports a necklace because there's magical damage in here. It's absolutely nasty to deal with that stuff. Oh, here we go. Transition. So if you want to add to more survivability, that would be a pretty good solution right about there. We're gonna save up this S3 because I might want to need some more stuns. I don't know the exact number of when he starts to do his stunning skill, so I'm a little bit like, do I need to do it now? Do I need to do it now? Okay, let's do this now. Yo, S1. Can we get a master stun in the next piece? That would be great. Okay, so the S3 popping up right here. Oh, can we get a big orb and yoink? S3. Yo, Pansy is surprisingly good for that. I was not expecting that much. Oh, big damage. Soul weapons up. Get your guard up. Luckily, the S1 on Shay absolutely saved us. Can we get some more? I am actually always more scared for this dragon than anything else. Oh my god, the S3 was on a front line. We still managed to survive due to all of the soul weapons. How broken is that? Damage looked like it improved by a little bit, but not as much as I was hoping to. Does it? Jeez, you're breaking things, guys. Somebody get her up. Here we go. We have a better view of Pansy now. No, honestly, I don't want to badmouth the character when we're doing an account review, but I still think Pansy is ass. Would I think she's going to receive a buff, or does she require one? Oh my god, Lumen is getting cooked. Lumen, stop dying, damn it. Stop acting like a pansy. See what I did there? Now my lady called me pansy. What'd I do? Lumen died once again. Yo, you big uppity summer mug. No cat though says she needs all the buffs. Well, so funny enough, we did better on the previous setting. That stuff did nothing for me, yo. Damage reduction upon physical block. Like, I think one of our biggest problems is right now is that your overall magical block rate is super low. Magical dodge, not necessarily what we want. But yeah, if you don't have over 1,000 magical block, this thing will bite you in the ass. Like, you see it right here. So then the question is, should I even be popping magical damage on the or magical defense on this instead of magical block? Good question, Tway. How did you come up with this stuff? So let's allow this to have a little bit more magical block, because if I look by the fact that we nearly already cooked it up once, why is it then not working now? And that could be the blocking department. Good. Maybe change one gear to magical block. Nah, we could fix that with this. Because magical defense is also one of the parts that is highly required, and this could be where I should be getting it. Yo, was this an attack up? Something? No, this seemed like it was something else. How the hell did we get a max roll on that one? Hit the end. Damage reduction up on magical block. Normally I would take it, but since we already got a rune up all the way to 200, and you don't need anything higher than that. Hit the end. Magical reduction up on magical block. Just give me a magical block. I'm not asking for much. Yoink. Yo, this keeps happening, man. What? And overall, his HP is also very, very low, which means in turn that if he takes 2 hits, the dude will die. Am I really asking for that much? Yo, shut up. Just do it. Nike! Yo, I gotta shout out more bullshit. Nike! Gucci! Okay, no, like I'm done. If that would actually work well for one, the one thing that I can do, this magical block is, it's not optimal, but it could be decent. But I'm going up to the next first. I do have enough enchantment scrolls to get everything to max, but I don't think that is absolutely necessary. But in terms of optimization, there's a lot to be done. Mazikaru Baroque. So we got a little bit more magical defense. We got magical block to 820 plus 200, which should be about 70%-ish, which means in turn we would or should be surviving this a little bit better. Can we do this though? And we still got your PvP question as well, man. Crazy. And world boss. But I think world boss is just a matter of getting your oops, that was a big hit. But we instantaneously get the T5 Dark, so that was exactly what I was hoping for. But it's just getting the right TM skills, man. Because should you be doing more damage? Yes. But you can, because you don't have the right TM skills. Oh. And this is what happens. I make this slight adjustment that makes no sense, and all of a sudden my Shay just starts dying because, well, she feels like it. This game sometimes makes absolutely 0 sense. But hey, we just let it. If you kill it once, you know you can kill it twice. But I know why your Shay is dying, because for one, her UT isn't high up, and second of all, she doesn't have magical defense, which in turn gets a little bit substituted by having Lias up there and having Loman up there, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee you to survive everything. It doesn't, unfortunately. The other thing that you can do is get one of these other characters out, get a Yana in there, which in turn grants you more survivability. But on the other hand, if she doesn't grant you any damage, like why put her in there anyway? That is a good question, but nothing that I will answer right off now, because there's no need, because we're trying to kill this the normal way, if there is such a thing. Yoink, big Damahe, transition into S1. The gateway to hell. Now this could still technically kill you, but you'd rather not want it to do that. But the moment you will increase your UT2 on your Mei, your overall capacity would increase several fold, because your damage will go up if the fight takes less long. Oh my god, I used that. Oh boy, I have possibly failed this run already because I did not save up the S3. Can I get some cooldown reduction? For this reason, cooldown TMS3 is godlike. Okay, that's too late. Oh, just in time. You thought it wasn't gonna make it, huh? You thought it wasn't gonna make it? Okay, I nearly died over. I shouldn't be talking shit. Hell, baby. So Mei's UT2 is something that you might want to consider bringing up. Loma UT1 is possible, but it's too much of an investment for it to be very fruitful. But it is useful once you start building against the higher dragons, because it will increase your damage several fold, because if you don't kill the fire dragon, it will have like what, 500 physical block for no reason. So yeah, that is something that you might want to consider doing if you want to do it higher up. But as long as you can kill Apocalypsion on the lowest of brackets, then you are good to go. Wow, Loma Shield isn't even gonna get dropped right now. Oh, never mind. I was having immunity. Okay, so I gotta wait a little bit on that S2 because yeah, he shared damage, but I'm not sure whether it's actually shared. You could also do something very safe. Oh, there you go. Loma nearly dying by a singular hit. This is beautiful. And there's a part of this boss that does ignore defense, so I'm not even sure if we are capable of surviving this. Yo, can I please cook up this skill? Because that one is nasty. Which in turn means that the UT2 needs to be brought up, because now you die. This is all made UT2 that allowed you to get killed. I'm gonna show you why. Because for one, that thing has a dodge rate which UT2 of Lies can negate. Let's see. It's not Terzio. This one is Invitation to the Abyss. It says, Apocalypsion, all crit resistance and all dodge is increased by 540 respectively, which means that this thing, the stacks that you need to do, what does it say? Stacks is reduced whenever she takes a crit hit. So we did do it last time, but that is because the UT2 is very low. If you do have some things, then I might actually increase it right now, because it will then increase your world bossing damage too. Do we have anything that we can use? Doesn't look to be the case. Or am I overlooking something? Am I missing something? Doesn't look to be the case. Oh, here. Hi. UTs. Like I said, overall it will increase the overall capacity of other things as well. It looks like you are using this for something, so I'm not going to break anything. Kind of want to though, but we're not going to do it. Where did it go, ladies and gentlemen? Here you go. Here we go. One. So we go priests. We go up to May. Where the hell are you at? Where the hell are you at? We need a sweet piece of cake. You know what I need? Sweet piece of cake. Look, sweet piece of cake. Can you get me some?
How?
Never mind. Does this have an attack? It does not. I'm very sad. So this little piece of crit might actually give you something if it does work. Yeah, account review. Power of account reviews. Let's go. You kind of want to reinforce this into attack if you have the option to do so. You got some critical attack, some attack, some all defense increase. All defense increase is not necessarily bad. And that earring would have been, or that necklace would have been absolutely crazy. That isn't going to help you. Cooldown this one doesn't help you. This one doesn't help you. Yes, this one, however, is. And even though you don't, oh, you do have some magical block. This will increase your overall damage because the fights don't necessarily take that long if you got multiple of those. The extra magical defense on the rest of these is pretty good. But then we have to look at the rest of your characters as well, because we can try and keep trying this, but I want you to be able to do this one yourself. Because if you can, it will take you just way less in terms of struggles, let's call it that. You did have a crit on that one. We have to check your lives for a second whether her perks are good. Oh, this is also one of the reasons why she is not doing what she is supposed to. This one, that one. Oh, you got TP95. Beautiful. That means I have no room for saying anything else but this. There you you go. And we got this one on the extra defense, and we even forgot to put an artifact on you. Sometimes, man, my own head is my biggest weakness. 'Cause it's a big head! I'm not sure why you get Valmas onto that one, because yay, she never does any damage nor heals or whatsoever. Attack speed is unnecessary. Damage done onto you is better like this. Mana per second not necessarily needed because you got yourself a Elias. So this one is a tad better if you ask me. Like I said, if the boss itself does less damage to you, then you will be able to survive better and such. All defense increase. I wouldn't necessarily want to change this, but there are definitely better options in terms of increasing your overall damage by the rest of your characters. But you should be looking for a Ocelon piece for this character over here. I'm not gonna pry much more into that one. The one thing that might be interesting is, this is the 85, is getting the Touch of the Goddess. Additionally, dispels target's positive effects. The reason why you want that one to happen is if you start doing this with the Black Dragon buff, you need to dispel that hit every single time. So those two might make up for it. But let's see if that little piece of crit and that other artifact will allow us to do significant more damage than what we currently had and actually be able to kill this one. It does take some getting used to how this thing is performing its damage, but once you really get used to it, once you get the UT2 up all the way through, then I don't think this will be any hard, like any hard at all. Because the problem is the crit. And if you do want to decide to, well, you know where. It's very easy. Isaiah to 95 perk would be good. We'll give you 50 additional crit. That's a very decent factor to use. Yes. But you only have 95 points, or it was on 85, and you only have 1 TP point for what I saw. If you would have more, I would have done it. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. The gateway to hell. Yo, I canceled that skill out like it was mighty fast, man. Christmas. And look at our damage is suddenly increasing because I just added one single artifact. Yo, this game is crazy. Another thing that you could just think about, which would be a little bit counterproductive toward what I just said, and that is add Shay on a Tarkata loss. That, or if people still have them, you can go Earth Fortress as well to increase the attack to a point where you get more magical defense from it, if survivability is your problem. But if crit is your problem, then don't take that one, because that will lower your crit significantly. Our damage is looking quite decent right now. I like it. Oh, here we go once again, but this time we got more stuff. Uh-oh. Wow, that dot nearly killed us on that one. That was crazy. There you go. Lumen doing some stunnings. Beautiful. I like that. Yes, I do. You never talk to me like that. So instead of the 8 billion damage that I had before, I'm currently on 10 point whatever it is. So quite the increase, and this is why, yes, you need to keep looking at your gear scores and whether your artifacts are set correctly. And this is why I say make yourself some presets. The damage spiked. Yes, it does just one artifact, man. That will allow you to do so much more. Wow. Did the game just break? Because the cutscene isn't happening. That would be a very first. Ladies and gentlemen, Yeah, no cutscene. Could we always have that? I like the cutscene once, but I don't have to see these big dildos every single time. Dildos? Yes, dildo. So we're gonna try and do something that will increase our healing capacity, and that is by just switching out like several skills in turn. Shield! Yo, that is their shield just saved us, for the love of God, man. It's funny that on our very first run we even got violence to tank everything, and now we are all of a sudden having so much problem into just trying to kill this heifer. But Panzer is the one that does a multitude of damage, so even if you save up some of the skills, oh my god, man. See, now the stacks are not going any lower. Wow, we suddenly got super lucky by those stacks. This is problematic for sure. Because I don't even feel that... Oh my god, look at your damage! I am liking this. Now, I want to save up another S3. If I would have known that I could spike this damage so hard, then I would. But we're going to save up this S3 as well, because I don't know when or where I need this other stun too. This is also the point where the boss just decides to say, oh, you got magical defense or such, we are going to kill you nonetheless. Which is very nasty, but something that you have to deal with, unfortunately. Okay, here we go once again. So with all of the dodges combined, we will have to figure out whether we do enough of this damage. If we don't, however, we are going to absolutely get obliterated. So once again, crit is the problem. It's getting long for you to where you don't have to do the PvP one, just help with what would be fine. Okay, I'm going to wrap this part up because you can already see what you need to do. This will take like several tries. Like even on my end, I have to do Apocalypsion like at least a few times a day to complete it, right? I die even with my gear, but although I do it on the maximum stuff, I know for sure that once you increase this, get yourself TP95 on Isaiah, you will breeze through Apocalypsion, my dude. Like, I am thoroughly convinced that you should be able to do this. Super easy. Increase this UT, the damage would spike, right? Because if we only had one, think of it like this: if we did not have that singular abyssal breath phase, then we would have already been done. We would have made it. So if you then get more damage, which would be an increase in this, get a bigger UT2 on May. Is there anything else that I can give you as a tip? Well, obviously increase your artifacts, and the same thing goes with this one, because the problem is this thing has a high amount of dodge, which means that accuracy is the counterpart, which means that if you increase this one, oh, it doesn't even help, never mind, it's just the accuracy counter on that one. But just know that every single hit that you do thereafter means that you will be able to crit, and you got crit over here. Isaiah will need a crit over there, and you will then be able to clear it. But the biggest one is this UT2. Along with UT1 is only if you go up, because for what I know, I'm not 100% certain about this. The Fire Dragon is the one that gives physical block. Let me see. Oh, greatly reduces physical damage and increases the physical block. And that's the Termaine's Flame. That's the one thing that you gotta watch out for if you wanna go up any further. But I think we got the I think we got a point down. So no cap though, outside of this, man, do you have any other questions? Yeah, that was it. Yo, thank you so much for allowing me to play your account. It was a blast. We definitely got some good things out of there, out of the way that I wanted to show the people, the Big Shockman stuff, the Apocalypsion stuff. Took us a little bit to get there, and there's still some work for you to be done to make Apocalypse, work. You've already seen me do it. If you really do have problems and you cannot still clear it, I will be able to look at you at it once again, but I do think you're quite capable enough of doing so once you get the May UT2 up and try a little bit here and there. So yeah, that's it. And once again, thank you so much for that one. I'm going to close out the video, so if you guys have any comments on things that I might have missed, put it down into the comments and let me know if I should have done anything different. If you have any questions or want to have an account review yourself, down into the description there is my Discord link. Hit me up on there, ask me whether you want one yourself. Do know that it is for a donation. It's not for free anymore because I get a lot of requests nowadays, and we're currently 2 hours and 30 minutes in, which means that it is costing time for me as well. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!